Welcome to the I Love Recruiting podcast with your host, Adam Roach.
Welcome back, everybody, to the I Love Recruiting podcast. I am your host, Adam Roach, and today we have a near and dear friend of mine. This guy holds a special place in my heart. I met this guy, probably going on almost 8 years ago. Michael was one of the top recruiters in the company of Keller Williams back in the day, and I looked up to him as someone that knew exactly what he was doing. And then lo and behold, you know what happened the next year? This man wound up on stage singing the national anthem in front of probably 15,000 people at a Keller Williams event. I thought, I knew that guy. I know that guy right there. So Michael Brown, welcome to the I Love Recruiting podcast.
Hey, Adam. Thanks, man. So glad to have you, and thanks for those kind words. I'm not sure I can live up to that kind of build-up, but we'll do what we can do to help everyone out today.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Well, catch us up. So we're both South Carolina boys. You're in the upstate, right?
Yeah, so right here in the Greenville, South Carolina area, which is about halfway between Atlanta and Charlotte, for those that may not have heard of us. But the area has grown so much, Adam, over the past few years, and the chamber has done a great job putting out information about what's happening in downtown, and the cost of living has been, just so affordable. I think most people listening to this probably have heard of Greenville, South Carolina by now.
For sure. So Michael went from being a top team leader then to getting back into real estate sales, and now he has an incredible team with he and his wife, Shay. And now you guys are just crushing the real estate world, aren't you?
Yeah, crushing it. Some days it crushes us, but yeah, we're crushing together. That's right.
Michael and I had the opportunity almost to get into business together. We were really close. And I'll tell you, man, that still is a sad spot in my heart that we didn't get together in that business form. But that's okay, because God has good plans for us, doesn't he?
Well, that's right, Adam. And, I prayed hard during that time that if it was God's will, and I'm very open about my spirituality, if that was his will, it was going, just take place, and the doors would be open and everything would go smoothly through that transition. But if it was not, that door would be slammed shut, and we would know, hey, that was not the path that we were going to go down right then. So, who knows what the future holds, man. At some point, I think we'll still have a chance to do some business together for sure. But no matter what, man, you got a special place in my heart as well, and always here to help any way we can.
Absolutely. Well, hey, find me some wholesale deals up there in the Greenville area now. We'll come
okay.
up, right? Let's do that.
You got it, brother. Be glad to.
Okay, so let's get into recruiting. So the I Love Recruiting podcast it's literally all about giving value in way, shape, or form, recruiting people to do what it is they feel inspired to do, right? Whether that's move to a different company or whether that's move to, heck, go to the gym and get in exercise. So watch this. So back in the day, Michael and I were top team leaders, and you were recruiting a lot of people, weren't you?
Yes, a lot of people.
How many do you say? What was your best year? How many people did you recruit in 1 year?
So, Adam, I believe that would be the year we were recognized, and they gave away those nice prizes, that car lease for a year and some cash. Man, I tell you, it's been a minute, but if memory serves me well, it was 109 people that year.
109 people, nearly 10 a month, huh?
Yeah, that was the average gross month was, it had to be more than that gross, because we ended up with netting, no, excuse me, Adam, that is gross. It was 109 gross that year, correct?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I might have been doing about 40 or 50 that year, so you were doubling me up, buddy. You're killing me.
Oh, man. Well, right place, right time. Yeah, let's say that. So,
well, so we have an equation here on the I Love Recruiting podcast, and it goes something like this. Recruiting equals influence, which equals leadership. And that can actually be inverted to say leadership equals influence, which then equals recruiting. So when you were in your space of recruiting, and let's just stay in the real estate space here for a second, what did you find was the easiest way to start to build relationships with people? Because I know you're a really big relationship man, and not only are you a big relationship man, but you're an authentic relationship man. So our listeners, they love to recruit. They also love to grow. What would you say are some of the top things that you could share with them on how to build relationships?
Yeah, thank you. And I think you hit on a couple of things. And I think the greatest leader of all times, at least in my life, is Jesus Christ. And, if we study his life and the leadership that he did during his time on this planet, was the first word that comes to mind for me is humbleness. And that I think any good leader has to be humble, that it's not about you. It's about those around you, and how can you feed into those people, men and women, to help make their lives better. And that can mean a variety of different things. Some people, their life to be better means they need to quadruple their business. They want to double their business. Some people, it may mean they want extra time to spend with their family, to be with their kids, to experience leverage like they've never had in their life or their business before. So, I think the humbleness and how you approach individuals, it's not a cookie cutter approach, because this is, people aren't cookie cutter. Everyone brings their own, life experiences and business experiences to the table. So trying to recognize those and to help them thrive. I think that was the biggest key to our success when we got started, was just building relationships with the people that were currently around me when I walked in the door in that positions, new to the company, to say, okay, what do we have to work with? For the first 90 days, and I didn't try to recruit anybody. I wanted to get to know, or if in essence, re-recruit the people that were there, to stay on board, to get on board with what we wanted to do going forward. I think it was the first step to getting us rolling into what we, became later on.
Right. So I love that. So that, what's really neat about that, everybody, when you're watching this video, you're not going to see my face, because I actually got kicked to my truck to record the podcast, because other people are recording the podcast at the house right now. But when you get to watch this video on our YouTube channel, Michael, you exude humbleness, period, right? I think that's just part of your makeup. You are a very humble, generous, giving man. And I think at the end of the day, that truly, in my opinion, probably had something to do with your success. Well, actually, I know it had to do a lot with your success as a team leader. What would you say is the next step in recruiting? So you sat him down, you got really humble with him, and you asked him probably a great load of questions to build a relationship. What's next? What'd you do next?
So I think, for me, Adam, it was then, if here's the baseline of where we are, now here's where we want to be, is to help create that vision. Is that, and we did that not only, talking through the vision, and something I know a lot of people may use vision boards and still do that. For us, my situation at the time, they were in an older office. Morale was down. Couldn't get much, going in that particular office, was the mindset before we came in. So we quickly realized, okay, we've got to do something about our physical plant, if you will. How can we make this look better, feel better, make people more comfortable, and feel proud to recruit to that facility? So we got real busy getting some paint, working with our mortgage company, redid our training room, put up some new signs, and we went out and found a printout, or a photo, if you will, of the futuristic office that we wanted to become. And I had that blown up into a huge frame, in the front of our office, and across the top, it said, "Coming soon."
Nice.
And that sat in our lobby. So as our current agents walked in or walked past that, and I would take it into our training room for every training session, "Coming soon." And they would say, "Hey man, that looks great. When's this happening?" And I used it to say, as soon as you can help me and trust me enough to help us bring in the right agents to build the office up, that we have to move to that new facility. The owners are ready. We've got to make sure the budget's ready. The only way we can do that in the model we're in is we've got to have X number of people in X amount of time or Y amount of time to make this move happen. Now, what can you do to help me out? So we painted a vision of here's where we are, here's where we want to be. Now together, how can we get there? And it was really cool to see people buy into it. There was some skepticism, believe it or not, from some agents that have been around for a while. But after a while, you know, they bought into it as we started talking about how you will get your new office at the new office, what it's going to take to earn that new office, if you will. So they woke up pretty quickly. So I would say once we got to know everyone, built those relationships, then we had to build a vision of where we wanted and then come up with a plan of how we're going to get there.
Love it. Love it. Okay. So everyone taking notes right now, I want you to hear this. You establish yourself as an authentic, humble leader to start, period. Number two, which could align with number one, is you have to have a vision, right? You have to have not only a vision in your head, you have to have a vision that is tangible. In Michael's case, a picture of a new building that he put up. And then did you hear what he said? He got buy-in, right? He got buy-in from the people that were around him that then he attracted to that vision. So if you're in my coaching program, or if you're in our group coaching program, one of the very first things that we start with at the I Love Recruiting Company is your vision, helping you get to that vision where you can actually not only share it, but articulate it, right? Articulate it and then get people's buy-in from it, which is so, so cool. So Michael, great job there in sharing that, because that's pretty well laid out. What happens next? So I'm a recruit. I'm coming into your office. It doesn't matter what company.
Right.
I understand that you are a humble individual leader. I understand that your vision. What do I do next? What do you do next to get me to say, holy cow, this 6'5", yeah, Michael's a big boy. He's 6 foot. How tall are you? About 6'5"? About 6'4".
Thank you. I'm growing every day. That's about 6'3", 235.
A former football player. This guy, he could bench a house if he wanted to. What comes next after you scare the living daylight? No, after you have gone ahead and said, hey, listen, we're going to sit down and have a conversation now. You see the vision. You see what kind of leader I am. What do you do next?
Well, and I'm going to back up just a minute. You know, my former life before I got into the real estate, you know, I was in corporate America and back at a company was called Bell South. And those of you that are old enough to remember something called a phone book, Yellow Pages. So my first real job out of college was as a Yellow Page representative, and that was a really cool job back in the day. But I had an unbelievable trainer. Went through an 8-week intense training program, a lot of, you know, question and answering and presentation skills that they just drilled us. We watched videos of each other, coached each other. But I'll never forget, Adam, that the teacher of that class, the coach, if you will, pulled me to the side. And what you just said, maybe remember that. And Michael, you're a big old guy. You know, you're going to scare some folks coming in. You're fired up, you're ready to help people, but you've got to learn how to back up just a little bit, to ask really good questions, and for them to see your heart more than they see the physicality of who you are. And that has stuck with me, Adam, and part of my humbleness, yes, my spirituality, but that has been something I've had to hone over the years to make sure it's not overpowering and too exciting. But you know, that meeting, as you're talking about, what did I do next with recruiting, would be, you know, it's Jane Doe. What are we sitting here once talking about, Jane, that has brought you to us today? Mm-hmm. You know, it's all about Jane in that next 30 or 45 minutes, getting to know her wants, desires, fears, concerns, you know, all that fun stuff about Jane. And then after that is, okay, Jane, thank you for that information. And now let me tell you about what we have to offer, and let's see if it's a fit. So I think that first part, I have spoken to several recruiters, and now that, you know, Shay and I have a married couple team, and we've been blessed to have success in production, that, you know, we get those recruiting calls now. We've had some folks try to recruit us, which is, you know, kind of been funny after I did it for so long myself. But, you know, Adam, so many that have done that, it's almost a show up and throw up about who they are and what they do. And it's so fast and quick that you almost sense they're just on to the next person. If you say no, or say maybe, or say I need time, it never made a personal connection with me, if you will. So, I'm saying that from a constructive feedback from somebody that's been on the other side of the table recruiting, and now somebody that's been recruited, that you have to take time, that once you work so hard with whatever email program you're doing, Facebook program you're doing, lead generation that you're doing, that now you have a captive audience in Jane Doe. Forget everybody else. Jane Doe is who you're there to talk about. And can you help her in whatever she wants to do? Thrive in business, thrive in life, thrive in building a team, thrive in whatever that may look like. But it has got to be about Jane and that time you have with her.
Yeah. So again, what he just said, everybody, write it down, because the other I love recruiting equation is relationships plus validity over time equals self-discovery. And what you just heard Michael say right there is he sat down with people and he got into a relationship with them, right? He asked them good questions. We heard him say that. And by the way, if you want the best, in my opinion, my humble opinion, Michael Brown, you all want the best 26 relationship building questions, go to iloverecruiting.com right now and put in your first and last name and your email address, and that'll automatically shoot you over 26 of the best relationship building questions, in my opinion, that are out there. So you build the relationship with them, and they see your vision, and they know what a leader you are, and now they start to ask you questions, right?
Right.
So they're asking questions because you've created a gap with your questions, and that gap then led them to asking you, hey, tell me more about your company. What'd you do then?
Right. So basically, Adam, it's just, then I had a presentation. I actually had created a PowerPoint and would go through and talk about, the different aspects of the company. And through that fact finding that I just did with Jane, let's keep using Jane Doe through this rest of this conversation. Yep. Through that fact finding, you're going to find as you use gaps, or some people may use needs, wants, desires, and writing those down at some point during that presentation, you got to be as familiar with the information that now it's okay, Jane, based on what you told me, you're not happy with your, let's say, technology. You're not happy with, the kind of support you're getting from your BIC on a daily basis. You're not happy with training. You're not whatever that not happy with. If you can think through those things, whether it be interviewing people together inside your office, your spouse, each other, but you've got to practice that information enough that when you have that, again, that time with Jane Doe, it's game time. Mm-hmm. That is it. She has taken time out of her busy schedule to come to your office and give you an hour and a half, whatever that time frame may be. Respect her, show her that respect, and then during that presentation, fill the gaps of what you just found out that she's currently experiencing, and see if you have an answer for it. And hey, if you don't, and those wants didn't come out enough, or those gaps didn't show themselves enough, it could boil down to she's just not happy with the location she's at, or she's not happy with the social events she has. But something's going to come out in that time if you really dig deep and ask those questions and earnestly write down, really want to know what Jane Doe is all about. You're going to find something in there I think you should be able to answer with your presentation. And if you don't feel comfortable about that right now, I'd say take a step back and analyze your presentation.
Nailed it. Oh, that was good. That was really, really good. And the key thing that I heard you say there, and this is as small as it gets, write down their answers. When you write down their answers, gang, I can't tell you what that feeling is on the other side of the table, because it actually feels like you're engaged. It actually feels like you care. And,
right.
And well, Michael, they better care, right?
Yeah, that's right.
No hiding behind a bush, right? No hiding behind a bush, jumping out and saying, I got you. No. You better have the right approach, the right heart when you show up to recruit. Okay, what's next? So now you filled their gap. They're ready to go, and they say, Michael, let me ask you this as a question. What are the top objections that you got? Maybe one or two, maybe even three. And then how did you overcome, let's just say, one of them?
Yeah, I'm going to answer it with a statement I used to use a lot, Adam, and you may have said this, I don't know where I picked it up, but the gain of the move has to be more than the pain of the move. The gain of the move.
Say that again.
the gain of the move must be more than the pain of the move.
That's good.
Okay. And here's, as an agent that's made a change, okay, and I am still with the same company, but I moved offices as a different franchisor, is that in itself could have been painful, to change the signs, the lettering, the business cards, the website, your current listings, and, how to get all that transition by what your state requirements may be, current buyers that are under contract, all those fun things. So I think that I'm peeling back an onion, if you will, I'm almost there, is you've got to have a solid transitional plan for Jane Doe. To say, Jane, if you're going to make this move with us and you see the benefits by which to make that move, we want you to be part of our team. And by doing so, here is your transitional plan. And whether based on the size of your office, you may be that transitional person, or you may be at a point that you're able to leverage that to somebody in your office or outsource it to someone else, but have a definitive plan with Jane Doe that walks through what that looks like. And also some questions along the way. Okay, what are your biggest concerns about making the move, Jane? If we said today, this is right for your business, and you see all the benefits of what we just talked about, what is your biggest concern about making that move right now? And get it on the table. I mean, don't hide from it, say, well, I'm so excited, sign here, we're going to get you this. No, Jane, this is your business. We want to take it to the next level, but right now, how do we make this happen that it's not going to be hurtful? You're not going to lose any business. Your listings are going to understand. Your buyers are going to understand. We want to roll out a plan to you that this is the most exciting thing that's happened to your career since you got your license and your first name tag. And here's what that looks like.
That's good. That's real good. All right. So for everybody listening, here's what Michael just said real quick. The best strategy in a close is to what? Ask questions. Right? Is to ask questions. What specifically would stop you from joining us today? And write down their answers. Now, Michael, one last thing, and then we'll end this because this has been really good.
Yeah.
Of all the people that I'm coaching, of all the people that I have coached in the past, of all the recruiters that I've worked with, one problem that seems to always surface, and I don't know if we've ever talked about this before, but I want to hear your honest answer, is we as humans, and maybe more men than women, but I don't know that to be true. I actually coach more men than women in the recruiting space, so that's all I have to share that with, is we love to fix problems. We love to be so solution oriented. However, what I have found in the recruiting space is you should not be solution oriented when they share a problem. You should stay in a total space of curiosity and get them all out and then fill their gaps. Would you agree with that statement?
I'm not sure I can with that one, Adam, and just
well, let me ask you this. Go back to it. The phrase of staying in discovery mode versus solution mode will get you further than the opposite.
I got you.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not saying I disagree with that, but I would say, as you said, before you asked the question, you kind of made the statement. I think fixing problems is what I do every day now in production, as far as timing John and Jane Doe's move on selling their current home and, moving to their new one, and all the fun stuff that has to do with that, or, some elderly clients we've helped that, all the stuff that comes along with doing this real estate business every day. So I find ourselves being really good problem solvers versus really selling houses. We solve a lot of problems, and it leads to the sale of the house or the purchase of a house. So I hear what you're saying, that I think, as based on the size of your office, I think as you continue to grow, I did find this, it was easier to be a fixer the smaller you were, but the larger you got, time obviously is going to be a constraint. So if you can help people self-fix by asking questions, if that's what you're, I may be saying, terminology a little differently, by putting it back on them. Well, Adam, that's a great question. what do you think you should do?
There
You
go.
know, and if, if that's the problem, well, what have you thought about fixing it? Well, man, that sounds great. Let's go with that. Or, hey, how about this? Tweak this, maybe a little twist of what what we're saying is put it back on them, but with a little tidbit of advice to go along the way if you have it. But that's just me. Yeah.
That's real good. Okay, so let's do this. So, Mr. Greenville, you are now in real estate, and how can all of these listeners? So we've had nearly almost 10,000 people download our podcast, which has been fantastic.
Wow.
Where can they go find you? And if anyone has referrals for your area, how can they send you a referral?
Yeah, so you can find us. My email address is michaelbrownhomes, HOMES @gmail.com. Our website is greenvillespropertycouple.com. My wife and I, Shay, as I said, we're a married couple team. Or you can call me at 864-385-9118. And we love referrals, glad to work with them. And we'll promise to treat them like family, like we do all the clients we have a chance to help buy or sell.
Yeah, now I should have warned you ahead of time. This podcast gets listened to all the way out in the Philippines and New Zealand and Australia. So y'all just got Michael Brown's phone number. So remember his time zone. He is Eastern Standard Time. So don't blow him up too early or too late now.
Thank you. And Adam, here's a quick story. We just helped 3 families last week. From Venezuela that's been in the country for 6 years. They all 3 know each other, speak 0 English. Came to us from a former buyer. We helped sell his house, buy a house, his children buy a house, and we hired an interpreter, lined up the appointments. All 3 of them are under contract, and I have yet to speak a word of Spanish to any of them besides gracias. Telling them thank you for the business. So yeah, any language, we'll find an interpreter. We're glad to do that.
Always leading with your heart, brother. You know how to do it. That's dang good. That's good. Well, everybody, this has been the I Love Recruiting podcast with Mr. Michael Brown. Hey, if you are interested in getting into coaching, you want one-on-one coaching, you want group coaching to help you recruit the number of agents that you're looking to do, so go to the iloverecruiting.com page, scroll down to the bottom, and tell us what you're looking for, because we are getting ready to launch another group coaching program that will start the beginning of September. Hard to believe we're in September already. So go check that out. Everybody, go find Michael Brown on the internet. He is all over the place. And he is definitely your man in Greenville, South Carolina. Michael, I love you, brother. Good stuff.
God bless. Love you back. Stay safe, brother.
All right, everybody, take care, and we'll talk to you next time.